Let me get my old body back to the floor. Oh, such a joy getting old. It's not for sissies. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to do my talk up front and then do our meditation afterwards. And the reason that I'm going to do it is because I don't have much to say. What more can anybody say about awakening? My goodness, our shopping bags are overflowing here with the concept of awakenings. The one thought that I do have about awakening, as I look at my own life, which is the only real study that I can do from an honest perspective, is that I've been awakening for a long, 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 long time. Not awakening in the Buddhist sense, but just awakening to life. My mother tells a story about what a rotten little child I was. And at about the age of 2.5 or 3, my spoiled little bratty self, when I didn't get what I want, I would sit on the floor and I would hold my breath and I would bang my head on the floor. And my mother was all kinds of concerned about, oh my gosh, he's going to hurt himself. And my wise old grandmother says, and that's when he'll stop. That was an awakening. Stopped. It hurt. I didn't have to do banging my head anymore. I could figure out other ways of getting the attention that I wanted. So these awakenings or enlightenments or whatever you want to call them have been happening in our life all along. It's what did we do with them? What have we done with these awakenings or these epiphanies, whether they be small or large? What did we do with them? Some of them we've just simply bypassed. We've just sort of taken a glance at them and they haven't had a great impact on our life. Some of them are big. Some of them had this huge impact. I find that this concept of awakening and enlightenment is the deeper part of why I've chosen to follow and become a Buddhist. It is about, it gives me the opportunity to see them, to go, I could have had a V8 and decide to make a different choice in how I live my life. You know, I was a mid-level executive, if you will, with American Airlines for 33 years, not all of it, but a number of years. And I remember a great awakening that happened there, which wasn't Buddhist either. You know how we get a great sense of self and importance and who we think we are. And one of the very big rollbacks that the airlines had, they had to lay off a bunch of people. And I just was so concerned that I was going to have to lay off some people in my own department. And then my boss called me into the office and I thought it was to talk about who I would have to lay off in my department. I had about 75 people working for me. And it wasn't about talking about who I was going to lay off. It was talking about I was the one that was going to get laid off. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. What an awakening. My entire adult corporate life was built on who I thought I was. And what I thought I did was so damn important. And in about 3 sentences, that changed. Now I went home, and this was before I was a monk, so I opened up a bottle of scotch and looked for my attorney's number and was ready to kind of fight about it a little bit. But the next day I got called back in. They decided differently. They saw some skill set or something that they didn't think they were going to find in anybody else. But the awakening that I had that day was, I am not my job. There is more to me than that. And my company only sees part of me. They don't see the full me. And it was about that time that I met Kozen, and it was about that time that I started doing meditation. And I would sit, and Kozen has said to me many times as we reminisce over old memories, he said, I remember that time that you thought you got laid off. That changed your life. So that was, again, one outside of the Buddhist practice. That was a major awakening. And it changed how I have been from that day forward. I recognize that my beliefs and concepts and visions of who I think I am are just delusions. Who I am is my interconnection with all of you wonderful people and all of the sentient beings in the world. Those are my awakenings today. And how do I make them real? How do I make them more solid, more firm in my life? It is the practice that does that. It is the ability to get up in the morning, and even though I don't feel like it, stagger into this temple, light my candles, light my incense, and do my practice. And go throughout my day, reminding myself through mindfulness living that this is all about these small awakenings, this path that we walk. And I gotta tell you, it's joyous. It's absolutely joyous, even when it's miserable. It's joyous because I have two choices. One, I can just simply love more and not react, or as Kozin says, just be with it, just see it as it is, or I can change it. I have total control over this stuff in my life. And that's the awakening. That's the enlightenment I hope you'll all take the opportunity to grasp in your lives. But I got to tell you, there's no secret pill. There's no magic program other than your practice. And I don't care what the practice is. Like Thay Z said this morning, whatever you do in your practice, do it. Do it. It will strengthen you as an individual. It will make you so aware of other people and their problems and reduce yours immensely. So those are my thoughts that I would like you to take into meditation with you. And so let us, how much time we got here? Was I very verbose? We got 20.